Welcome, everyone. This is maybe the webinar I've been most excited to share with you, information with my Smithsonian friends. We know that live engagement and being able to have objects that students can touch and interact with makes all the difference in learning outcomes. So tonight I'm pleased to share with you information about engaging in hands-on Smithsonian activities in your classroom. I've already made my all call to ask for help with the control panel, but just in case you are not one of the many to dial in to say that the audio is okay, let me give you a quick check on the control panel itself. If your control panel is minimized, you probably see either two little black arrows or a red arrow. If you click on that, then you'll open up a control panel like the one that you see on the screen here. And once your control panel is open, then throughout the webinar, you are welcome to type questions to me and to my guest, Sarah. We look forward to making this webinar interactive with you. I suspect you're going to want to share and participate throughout the webinar, so don't hesitate to use the control panel. I'll be watching for your communication throughout, and we'll share questions and information with Sarah as we go. So if you want to take a check with that one, can you let us know in the chat box what attracted you to the webinar? Help us know how to be better educator partners with you. What was it about this particular one that inspired you to register and certainly to join today? So send us a little something. While you're doing that, I'll make an official welcome and also turn on the webcam so we can say hello and be seen properly. So you'll notice right away that this is as live as it gets, and we're just involved right here up close with you in the technology. So webcam on, we can wave hello now, and advance this to give you a proper hi. Yep, look at us. These are real educators when we're really ready to get right in with all this stuff. Here we go. Let's see. So Sarah, we've got a great agenda, and I think there's even an introduction slide for us coming too. We can pop there. I'm Wendy. I'm Chief Academic Officer for WorldStrides. Sarah, tell me about being the head of education, and tell me what we should know about the Smithsonian Libraries.
Yeah, sure. So the Smithsonian Libraries is sort of a unit within the Smithsonian Institution. Every museum and research center and zoo has a library within it. So we're 21 different branches. We cover all the different topics that the institution covers. So art, history, culture, science, the whole gamut, which is really nice that our collection is really representative of everything Smithsonian does. And about 4 years ago, we had an opportunity to turn toward a more outward focus. Right now, the libraries really serves a more internal research, curatorial, very academic audience. And they decided, you know what? We'd like to widen that scope, and we'd like to start looking toward a teacher audience, sort of K-12, like 0 to 18 kind of scope. So I got brought on to sort of start that department, which has been a really wonderful experience to try to be playful with our things that literally can't leave the buildings. You know, like the museum objects, but the books are often too rare, and it's sort of hard to access them. So I've been trying to figure out ways to make the images and the concepts in our amazing books be more accessible across the U.S.
In all my interactions with you and with other members of the Smithsonian, everyone is committed to making sure that things are accessible to people. So thank you for your commitment and congratulations. This is good. All right, tell us a little bit about what we want to do this with the time that we have together.
Yeah.
And I know you've got some things to share, which is perfect.
Let's jump into it. So just a quick little note. It's not a very jazzy looking slide, but this is a screen grab of the education page for the Smithsonian Libraries. So it's just a good little note for everybody that this is where you can kind of find some of the stuff we're going to be looking at. So it's library.si.edu/education. That's our homepage, and there along the right side, you're going to see a couple of the programs that we do. We've been testing a lot of stuff in person here in the DC schools, which has been really nice, and just the communities here. But now we're trying to sort of pivot into a more national program. We're able to roll things out and lend things out on a much wider basis. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight is our newest program called Traveling Trunks. So this is the Traveling Trunks page. If you were just to click on one of those right tabs over there, it would take you here, and it tells you a little bit about what's going on with them. And you'll see right here, we've got these kits that we can, that's right, we can Vanna White that, these kits that we can lend out across to schools, community centers, public libraries, homeschools, I mean, whatever. There's no
rules about that lend out part, because you really mean for this to travel.
Yes,
it is
a traveling
trunk
to you you get a prepaid FedEx label to return it back to us. You have to be able to carry the box to a FedEx. That's sort of like the biggest thing, or at least get FedEx to pick it up for you. I don't know how you do that. But that's sort of like the biggest hurdle. We wanted there to be very little things that you had to do to be able to get this to you.
Teacher budgets are limited. So
yeah, absolutely.
Considerations of these.
And this concept sort of has existed for a long time, but we're trying to revamp it and make it free, which usually isn't the case, ship it to you, which usually isn't the case, and have it be a little bit more of like new tech, new touch, new accessibility levels that I haven't really been seeing in the museum field for a while. So with that being said, we want to show you one particular concept that we've got. We have a couple of different concepts. The one that we're going to talk about tonight is the songs and narratives, or narrativas y canciones. It was funded from an internal grant from the Smithsonian through the Latino Center here. So it is sort of really taking a deep dive into the library's collection to see what we have that could sort of put together these Latinx narratives and explore our content and sort of share it in a different way.
Tell us about this. We get that already like that. This is,
yeah.
At first, when I heard the traveling trunk, I thought, well, is it just going to be stuff in there jumbled around, and I have to figure it out? But it's much more careful than that.
It is. What we've been really excited about is we've been partnering with this company called Museum in a Box, and they make this. It's super simple, little like inside you've got a Raspberry Pi computer, and you've got speakers and an RFID sensor reader. So, you know, like if you're ever, maybe you've seen them before, like they're in like the chips for like clothing tags and stuff like that, those little like flat sticker sensors. And so it's super simple technology, and it's super customizable. And so it's like a little ed tech startup in London, and I highly recommend checking them out, museuminabox.org. But what's so nice is that we're able to sort of configure this, and I'll show you what the heck I'm talking about in a minute and how it works, but we're able to sort of configure this and use this as the narrator for some of our experiences. Up on the screen you can see a couple of options that we've got going on. We've got some more fun ones, potent potions and strange things inspired by the teacher Stranger Things, and those are sort of like mystery events, and we really use this as sort of the narrator or the anchor of the story. It kind of helps us put the material out there, so it's not just like packs of paper, and it can really be hands-on things. So let's actually show you some of these things. Like I said, we're going to do our songs and narratives one. And let's look at what we actually have going on in our box.
This trunk reminds me of something that I would see somebody shipping photography equipment in it when I travel in the airport.
Like stolen jewels or something. Really.
Treasures.
Yeah, exactly.
It's sturdy.
It's extremely sturdy. It's not going to get damaged in the shipping. You're going to get the box to return it in. It's going to come like this, but on the inside, this is what we were just talking about. On the left-hand side, you can see you've got this like custom-fitted foam that everything goes in. Our little museum in a box guy goes in there, and then everything that's going to come in it, which I've got here for your viewing pleasure. So, like I was saying, we have these sort of 4 little boxes that you're going to get, and they have the titles in Spanish and English of what they're talking about. And this one is kind of a big word and kind of a big topic. It's syncretism. But what's really awesome about this entire kit, and actually the entire concept of traveling trunks, is that they're not very age specific. That this is made, there's so much flexibility in this that we have concepts and interactive points that I could see, you know, like a 3-year-old having a lot of fun with and actually getting something out of, and but also like you've got your seniors in high school can be sort of doing the deeper dive projects with it. So it's super open-ended, and that's what we really wanted to do. We worked with a lot of teachers on earlier iterations of this concept and trying to figure out what is it that would be helpful, and it's like not another lesson plan, I'm just going to hack it apart, not another sort of like too open, it just trying to find that sweet spot of something that there's enough content to sort of grab onto and do a deeper dive with from a trusted source like the Smithsonian, which is nice that we have that to our name, but that it's not so specific that if that isn't the exact thing you're working on, how could you even bring it into your classroom or to your informal education space? So let me show you.
You've opened the box now.
I've opened the syncretism box. Sure. All right. So please know that we are still in production mode. This has not launched yet, so this is a preview. So this
cutting edge.
Right, cutting edge. So this flimsy piece of paper is not the quality that you'll be getting. It'll be a really nice high density postcard that's going to be double-sided. So just be patient with me on that. But every image is all sort of color coded, so you can kind of know where everything goes. But every image has a little context to it. We hired some researchers this summer to come in and do this deep dive for us. And everything, let's see if I can get it right.
In the practice of Cuban Santeria, a religion formed by a blending of West African Yoruba spirituality with Catholic Christianity, the rooster represents Osun, an Orisha, or spirit, that Santeria
So this is our little image of the rooster. We've got, so as you notice, this just told us what was going on in English, but also if you just scooch it over a little bit, same thing in Spanish. So everything's dual language, the website as well. And we're, you know, if you take a spin with this and you see something that we did incorrectly, or you see something that didn't get translated, obviously let us know, because our drive is to be more inclusive on the language front and open ourselves up to a wider community. Because one of the things that is really driving us as well is just this issue of accessibility. And there's no screens involved in this. Everything that you have access to will also live on our website. So you can incorporate a screen if you'd like, but we love this little tool because it doesn't require that. And you just plug it in, and we've tested it with kids, and they're just like, I feel like I've seen this before, even though like they're like, I've never seen this before, but I feel like I've seen it before. I know exactly how to use it. And
it's refreshing to have something that's not a screen.
It's just sort of simple. It just sort of feels like old, familiar technology in a way. And so everything has these different visuals in it, but then everything also comes with sort of like this like anchor object that matches it. So you can see we've got, come on, buddy. Maybe I didn't do this one right. Maybe I'll show you a different one. What about that? Like I said, I'm still putting it together.
We're in the preview, so it's
yeah, absolutely in the preview.
So even the realia, even the objects have the tag that you were describing that will allow some narrative to accompany.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we go, I'll advance the slide a little bit so you can see some other options.
This is incredible. Even just with the teas that we had right there with that first one, instantly you're in multiple content areas.
Yeah.
You're inviting interdisciplinary collaboration. You've got dual language.
Yeah, we're excited about it, and it seems to be testing really well. People are super excited about it as well. We've got one of the other sets is about the history of the banana and the Panama Canal, and so we had a really interesting conversation about this word guineo and what word we were going to use for banana in Spanish and what was the most appropriate term. And we're talking mostly about a very particular area, and we're talking about Panama, and we decided that this was the most representative term. Yeah, most common for that space. Those that don't know Spanish, I'm just telling you a little bit about why we decided to 3D print the bananas green instead of yellow, and just that they're often picked green, and then they ripen up during the transition to get to their final destination. And then it will tell you it in English afterward. But also this filament on the 3D printer, I don't know that you're going to see it on the screen very well. It's pretty cool, and the hands are not super warm. But with heat, this changes to yellow. So it's kind of a fun thing you can have in the classroom. You can probably put it on the heater, put it in the sun, and you can slowly watch it change to yellow, which is pretty fun.
That's great. So tell me, there's a context that's being provided for the item.
Yeah.
And we know that the information has been vetted, which is wonderfully reassuring. Any teacher that's done a Google search for any topic just shivers at the millions of results, knowing you have to sort through and be responsible for what you're putting in front of the students. But you've done all of that.
Right. I mean, we wanted to take some of the guesswork out. We wanted to be able to give a couple of sort of open-ended topics that you can kind of really dive deep into, or you can kind of keep it loose and just sort of explore. It works really well as like a centers kind of thing in a classroom where people can just be kind of like seeing what's going on. Another option that we really are excited about, so again, everybody's got these 4 cards, and there's an introduction one too, that will tell you a little bit more about. So this gives you kind of a big picture about what we're going to talk about with these cards. Again, Spanish and English, but also everything comes with, let's go ahead, I think that's the next one. Let's skip ahead real quick because I'm going over to this guy. Yeah, so everyone comes with a record, and each one has a song that matches with the images. And all of these songs are also from Smithsonian Collections, the Smithsonian Folkways, which is the record company here at the Smithsonian. And each record plays 4 different songs, so you can.
And you're identifying the content you want based on the placement of the object on the box.
Exactly. So you can see you can kind of see how there's these little half circles that'll tell you the name of the song. You can just kind of align that up to the center of the box and kind of twist it. You can hear 4 different songs. So
I'm going to invite people to give us a little feedback on their first impressions of the couple of things that we've seen. We'll keep showing them more, but if you want to, I've got information right here, and oh gosh, lots of appreciation for the work that the Smithsonian is doing. Let me scroll down. Wonderful. If you have questions along the way, don't hesitate to ask questions, and I will share those questions with Sarah. This is good.
Oh, good. So this, so yeah, we've got all of the objects here, but this is our corn.
La variedad de maíz que se ha propagado por las Américas ha aportado a la diversidad culinaria. Aún así, el maíz blanco es el que más cultivaron los campesinos de Centroamérica.
So what I wanted to tell you was another thing, because again, we're trying to think about how this could be really accessible to like different age groups. And does this hold the attention span of a 3 or 4-year-old? You know, so what are the aspects of that? There's the tactile that we love, there's the audio that we love, there's the visual that we love that is really kind of can speak to all different age groups. But another thing that we are doing to sort of help add context to the material and also make it sort of playful. So we've got, go to this slide, yeah. So here I've shown you the images that are all on the front of, you know, the yellow ones, the maize section. And then the reverse image on all of them is that image on the bottom. It's sort of like this bits and pieces of a map with sort of these black bars. But what's really fun is that they can be arranged to, it's an extremely simple puzzle, but these get all, you know, when you flip them all over and you put them all together into this bigger image, and it gives you the exact context of what we're talking about. This is, you know, sort of based in Mesoamerica, which is going to be like the southern part of Mexico and the northern part of Central America. So,
really thoughtful.
Yeah, so all of them, when flipped over, like they'll each take you, like, so this one will like take you to Panama Canal. This is Puerto Rico and Cuba and mostly the Caribbean, and the last one that we haven't really pulled up yet, Bomba, is a style of music from Puerto Rico, so it's a really lovely map of Puerto Rico, and it's all of this.
Well, I'll relay a question asking, is there guidance on how to use the materials across ages? Are there recommendations?
Yeah. So there's a couple of different places that information can be found. One is in a little book that comes with it, and I'll show you guys that in a second. And then another thing is that's going to be something that's going to be living on the website as well. So we've mapped Common Core standards to everything that you're seeing. And so that will be accessible online. So that'll kind of give you, and you know, those aren't like end all be all. There's a lot left to be desired there, but it gives you a little sense of it, just sort of like what we might be covering, and like, oh, are you supposed to be learning about like ancient cultures like Mayan and Aztec? I know that that's a very odd and specific sort of one in maybe kindergarten or first grade even here in the district.
And it varies by state.
Absolutely. So exactly.
You show us another, and let's keep feeding some questions here. An acknowledgement that students love to solve puzzles, and then also a question asking if the list of kits is available somewhere. And I think I can actually get a link in.
Yeah, yeah. So there's two things there. This is still a really new project for us. We've been testing things in a local way, and now we're sort of transitioning some of these kits into a national, traveling trunk style. So that's taking us a little bit of time, but this one is going to be ready in really the next coming weeks. The only thing that's slowing us down is sort of the legalese of lending things out to people, but the kits themselves are about to be ready once we get the better postcard prints. And then on that Traveling Trunks website, you can see the other ones that are going to be rolling out this spring. There's going to be one about American women's history that we're going to be working on, and then there's two that are a little bit more playful and mystery-based. One about, we can't call it Harry Potter, we call it Potent Potions. It's about saving 3 professors and making a potion, but also through learning research skills and critical thinking stuff. And then there's one sort of based around this, inspired by Stranger Things, the TV show, but it's really based around the 1980 election and inauguration.
Just sent a link in the reply here. So if you're able right now, I would go ahead and click that link and have the page open up in another browser window, and then save it. So save it to your favorites, because this is likely going to be the kind of thing you enjoy and want to come back to do again.
And on that link, and maybe it's even what you were sending, there's a Google form that we have right now. Perfect. So the Google form is collecting anybody that might be interested in it, because we're not rolling it out today, but we are rolling it out super soon. So we want to if you're interested in any of these or you've got comments or questions, just like please let us with all those things. And trying to be mindful of all of your time.
Yeah,
I'll just get to the last thing here, which is this is the book that's going to come with the kit. It comes in. It's got the little slot there. It's under the style of a cartonera, which is a pretty common. It's kind of like a zine, but it kind of just started in like Central America and Mexico. Just cardboard covered little sort of self-artist piece that me and my colleague were making today. But on the inside is a pretty well put together book. It's 60 pages, and it's got, for those following along at home, I'll speak up here. So we've got a really lovely table of contents. It's all done in color, so it's super easy for you to just skip ahead to what you're looking at.
Everything's coordinated.
Exactly. And what's really nice is that we've got, you can see there in the picture, it tells you a little bit about the music. So each section follows up with questions, Spanish and English, sort of like bigger picture, deeper dives. This is where it really scales up for different grades, where you can start thinking about these like open-ended questions, what like bigger research things you might want to jump into, a list of vocabulary that you might be coming across when you're reading about, either when you're learning about it here, or if you do deeper dives, then this might be something that you should be kind of expecting this coming, or it's already in your rearview mirror, but this is sort of a little starter guide. And then one of the last things in each section is a little blurb about each song that's in here, and sort of why it was chosen and how it is representative of maybe the image it ties to, or sort of the stories that you're learning about. And then skipping to the end, just a little brief about section. That one's not going to dazzle you too much, but this one's really nice. These are sort of helpful research questions, things that a library really specializes in. That's this last page in the screen in the blue, talking about, is this a trustworthy source? How can I figure that out? How can I cite this properly? It's just sort of these like leading questions to you or your students to be thinking about.
Everybody needs that.
In this, what's the bias? How do you consider this source? Things like that. So just sort of the stuff that the library kind of specializes in. And then just a little index of all the images you're going to see. So this is sort of the Bible of everything, and anything that you don't see here that you feel like you would need, you would probably find online as well as a companion to sort of help you figure out how to explore this with different age groups and things like that.
Remind us again about the reality of the shipping for this.
Yeah.
That this can be a real thing.
Yes, this is. It's super easy. Again, everything's free. It's free to borrow. We ship it out to you. The lending period right now, we're going to be doing it at like 4 weeks, kind of a month-long lending period, but we're open to being flexible about that. This will be the first time.
To break out CDU. Do you know about that? Or?
It's hard for me to compare. I have no idea what you're talking about. Tell me.
We'll leave that for some comparison. How about a question asking if you need teacher feedback? Do you need a pilot group? I think the people who have expressed interest and have attended here are the kinds that
this is exactly the kind of thing that we're looking for. We're pretty much at a final space for us, but that doesn't mean this is the final stage of this project or even the next ones that are coming down the line. We were lucky enough to have grant money to sort of create this and get us off sort of on our feet. Same thing with the American Women's History one, but then after that, we'd really like to continue exploring in topics that are user-led. We want to be responsive to our community and see what people are interested in.
Before we wrap up, maybe I'll make an all-call to our teachers and ask if there are particular topics where this could make a difference in the effectiveness of your instruction. The Smithsonian wants to support you in being a good teacher, and this is the kind of work that makes a big difference for the learners. So let's hear what your interests are, and we'll maybe say thank you here while people are putting some last notes in the comment boxes for us. So we'll enjoy looking at those together as we finish.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much. And one last thing that I know is that the American Women's History Kit is going to also be, it's going to be trilingual, be Spanish, English, and Arabic. So that'll be a new adventure for us, but we're really excited about widening that scope to this community.
Thank you so much for sharing information with us, for organizing so we can actually see what we're talking about. This is the purpose. So
thank you guys for having me.
Possible.